Good afternoon. I'm Tom Corr, President and CEO of the Ontario Centres of Excellence, and I will be your Masters of Ceremonies for the next 2 days. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to Discovery, Canada's premier innovation showcase. We are especially pleased and honoured that we are again joined by the Honourable Kathleen Wynne, Premier of Ontario, who will be more formally introduced to you by our Board Chair, Michael Nobrega. I also want to welcome our colleagues from the ONE, the Ontario Network of Entrepreneurs, included partners from the Regional Innovation Centres and Small Business Enterprise Centres, as well as the universities, colleges, and research hospitals that work so effectively on behalf of the province to support entrepreneurs, businesses, researchers, and students. I would also especially like to welcome our colleagues from industry. For many of us here today, Discovery is both a homecoming and a singular highlight of our work in innovation, a chance to connect and reconnect, to celebrate our successes, to hear from those on the vanguard of disruptive thinking, and of course to do lots of networking and deal making. This year, Discovery is more and all that and more. This year we celebrate 10 years of Discovery and 10 years of bringing people together to celebrate innovation in Ontario. And I can assure you that we've been working hard to deliver you the best show ever. Over the past decade in Ontario, we've seen a surge of innovation. No sector of our economy has been left untouched by the creative energy and entrepreneurial grit that is transforming every aspect of how we live and work. As one of the key partners in the Ontario Network of Entrepreneurs, OCE's mandate has put us at the nexus of innovation in the province. It is our job to bridge industry and academia to drive commercialization. From our vantage point at OCE, we have seen a remarkable maturing of the province's innovation ecosystem. We are working together better, and we are collectively putting our total focus on our clients. The past 10 years have seen a major recalibration of the relationship between industry and academia. Today, we are seeing much more seamless integration of commercialization, with faculty and students embracing entrepreneurism as a natural extension of their work in the lab. We've come to better appreciate the important role young people play in helping us deliver innovation from our province. They bring the idealism, unbounded energy, and nothing will stop me mindset that are the essential ingredients of entrepreneurism. Many of them are determined to graduate with a degree and a company. We also recognize the rewards of collaboration, and more partnerships are being formed. With the introduction of the Innovation Agenda, the Government of Ontario laid the foundation and ignited the spirit of entrepreneurism that is so evident at Discovery. This year we have more than 500 exhibits and more than 3,000 attendees, record numbers. This includes more than 150 young entrepreneurs from our campus-linked accelerators and our on-campus entrepreneurship activities programs operating in 42 universities and colleges across the province. Many of these young entrepreneurs receive support from OCE's Smart Start Seed Fund program. You will also see that Ontario's innovative technologies are increasingly drawing the attention of global investors and businesses. This year's Discovery has attracted a record number of international investors and businesses, close to 300, including a large Chinese delegation and attendees from the Keiretsu Forum, a global investment community. This is a true testament to the quality of Ontario's startup community, researchers and talent, many of whom are here today at Discovery. I would now like to ask our Board Chair, Michael Nobrega, to come forward and introduce our honoured guest.
Thank you, Tom, and welcome everyone to Discovery. Discovery is part of a transformation or a groundswell of momentum that is actually transforming the Ontario economy, all the way from the nuclear sector to the water sector to the manufacturing sector and yes, into the financial sector. But this momentum doesn't occur by chance. It requires people of uncommon vision and the courage to make very uncommon decisions. And Madam Premier, we put you in that category. As you look out here, there are thousands of kids and And you saw some of them earlier on, and many of them would like to meet with you. But I saved you. I was not rude. I told them next time. But to show you the faces of innovation and those whom you have not met, we prepared this video to show some of the faces of innovation.
I'm Rocky Gansky, the CEO of Soligis Devices, and we are here to save the lives of our fellow Canadians.
My name is Ariel Garten, and we're helping people understand what goes on inside their own brain and improve it right here in Ontario.
My name is Carlos, and I'm redefining the way buildings are constructed in Ontario.
My name is Andressa Lacerda. I am the Chief Operations Officer for Noble Purification, and we're looking into a new method for cleaning the waters in our municipalities.
My name is Leah Eichler. I am the CEO and co-founder of Rally. Rally uncovers who knows what in your company. We do enterprise search solutions for human capital.
My name is Ibrahim Khan. I want to revolutionize materials and manufacturing in Ontario.
I'm Angelina Fomina, and at Parsub, we are giving people a new way to quickly access data from the web.
I'm David Jones. I'm the founder of Pairwise Affinity. I'm helping people in Ontario see the future.
My name is Alex Kolodkin. I'm the founder of SetScatter, and we're enhancing the film industry in Ontario.
I'm Olivia Simmons. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Conference Cloud. Conference Cloud is a virtual attendance platform, allowing people to digitally attend conferences either from at home or around the world.
I'm Richard Berman, and I'm helping to create cutting-edge technologies in Ontario.
I'm Jane Wang, CEO of MyHealthSphere, and we do health differently. We make a software, that does health coaching every day.
I'm Ben Houston of Clara.io, and we are revolutionizing the creation of digital media right here in Ontario.
I'm David D'Angelo, president of Trivium Industries, and we are reducing waste at landfills by creating cosmetic bottles that are compostable in Ontario.
I am Jamie Draves, founder and president of Catan Kitchens. We are developing local quinoa seed so that people can augment the nutritional value of their plate locally here in Ontario.
My name is Richard Beale, CEO of Cofovo Energy, and we're building the next generation of solar technology here in Ontario.
Hi, I'm Earl Houston. I'm president and co-founder of MIS Automotive. We're developing advanced sensors for autonomous vehicles and advanced safety systems here in Ontario.
I'm Miriam Turk, co-founder of Clearblue Technologies. Clearblue Technologies makes the world's first smart off-grid power solution, enabling the world's Internet of Things to operate independent of the electricity grid in a reliable and easy-to-use manner.
I'm Matt Rendell, CEO and co-founder of ClearPath Robotics. We're making an impact in Ontario by creating highly skilled jobs in the robotics segment and exporting robotics products internationally.
I'm Don Sturt, and we're making life-saving medication more affordable in Ontario and across the world.
My name is Jessica Ching, and I'm making a real difference in women's health.
My name is Paul Webster, and my company, Laser Depth Dynamics, is providing the next dimension of control for advanced manufacturing in Ontario.
Please join me and the young entrepreneurs in welcome to the podium, the Premier of the Province of Ontario, Kathleen Wynne.
Wow, that is awesome. You are awesome. It's wonderful to be here with all of you. Thank you, Michael, for that introduction. And you didn't save me, you just teased me, because I want to ask questions about all of those fantastic things. So, Ani Bojo, bonjour. I want to acknowledge that we're here gathered on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the New Credit, and it is wonderful to be here at Discovery 2015. Comme il est magnifique d'être ici aujourd'hui à Découverte 2015. Every year at this conference, the Ontario Centres of Excellence brings our most creative, innovative, and industry-leading minds together to foster collaboration, celebrate the entrepreneurial spirit, and find new opportunities for Ontario to lead. And it is inspirational. When I look out on this room, it's easy to see that there's excitement about the future, a future in which Ontario continues to be prosperous because You have built the innovative, ideas-driven companies that we need to compete. The biggest problem I have when I come to this event is that I don't have the time to explore all of the things that you're doing, and I just want you to know that it doesn't mean that I don't want to know. I'm pulled away. But I've been in provincial politics for over a decade, so I think I can fairly say that sometimes, as politicians, we try to take too much credit for successes that really are shared. Jobs, for instance. The reality is that we as politicians do not actually create jobs. You do, or in some of your cases, you will. But more and more, we need to work together because as we live in this shifting and increasingly competitive global economy, where wealth is distributed unevenly, creating good jobs with good pay here in Ontario is a challenge that no one alone can solve. A stroke of a pen from a politician just won't do it. That's a myth. But there's another pervasive myth when it comes to job creation. The myth of the entrepreneur as an isolated genius with the great idea whose success is inevitable. I would suggest that that is a myth as well. And I'm not alone. I know a lot of you are familiar with Eric Ries and the lean startup methodology, and Eric's going to be speaking right after me via satellite, but before he gets here, I hope he won't mind me borrowing a few of his lines. In the introduction to the lean startup, Eric rejects the myth of the successful and unsuccessful entrepreneur, saying, and I quote, "Startup success is not a consequence of good genes or being in the right place at the right time. Startup success can be engineered by following the right process, which means that it can be learned, which means that it can be taught." Eric likes to remind us that, again I quote, "Entrepreneurship is not about two guys alone in a garage eating ramen noodles." That's not what it is. And I couldn't agree more. I appreciate this idea because I think it's important to remember that entrepreneurship, like government, is not a superpower. It needs help. Equally important to remember is that entrepreneurship is not about working in isolation, and that's clearly what today is about. It's about partnership. It's about the pooling of ideas and resources and the creation of a climate that allows business to go from pitch to profit, from the garage to the market to global growth. Il s'agit d'un partenariat, soit la mise en commun d'idées et de ressources, de même que l'instauration d'un climat qui permet aux entreprises de croître. My government takes our role in this partnership very, very seriously. Over the last decade, we've worked very hard, and I want to just stop there and just give credit because I say my government. Dalton McGuinty was a huge booster of this notion, and we began and we've worked hard to establish a culture of entrepreneurship in Ontario. And by and large, we've been successful, we've done a great job, but more to the point, you have done a great job. Together, we created an innovation ecosystem with university accelerators that build real value into startups. From U of T's Creative Destruction Lab to the Communitech Hub in Kitchener, which is the anchor of a regional startup ecosystem, now over 1,000 companies strong. The culture of entrepreneurism that has exploded across Ontario in the past decade starts with our support for the talented people in our post-secondary institutions. Sam Altman of Y Combinator, that renowned California-based seed funder for tech startups, he was asked recently if any one college stood out for having students whose ideas took off. He said yes, but it wasn't in the US. He said the University of Waterloo. Yes, woohoo! And we are enormously proud of the Ontario companies that have burst onto the scene in recent years and have grown to employ hundreds of people and do business around the world. Shopify is maybe the biggest recent example. Since 2010, Shopify has grown from 40 employees to over 600 and supports over 160,000 online retailers in 150 countries worldwide. And we were there supporting Shopify at the beginning through the Ontario Venture Capital Fund directly and through Georgian Capital Partners, in which we and you are a limited partner. Market watchers have put Shopify's valuation at over $1 billion. And that's important. Rebuilding Ontario's venture capital system was a key plank of our innovation agenda because risk capital is the fuel that propels entrepreneurs. In 2009, Ontario was ranked 14th in venture capital investment in North America. 5 short years later, we were 6th. But we can reach higher, and we need to reach higher in order to compete. Our startup ecosystem has fostered a wonderful spirit of entrepreneurship, and more capital is flowing into Ontario than in the past. But the fact is, we need more Shopifys, more billion-dollar companies that set down deep roots in Ontario and create jobs by the hundreds and the thousands. So, we've listened to those who have been involved in successful scale-ups, and we're putting money and energy where we know there is a gap. Nous avons été à l'écoute de ceux et de celles qui ont participé à des mises à l'échelle fructueuses, de telle sorte que nous mettons urgence et énergie là où nous savons qu'il existe un écart. Nadir Mohammed is here with us today. And Nadir has seen firsthand and has dedicated himself to finding a solution to this gap. After he retired as CEO of Rogers Communications, Nadir went to work on behalf of entrepreneurs, tackling the barriers they face when trying to grow. As the current CEO in residence at Ryerson University, through his work with its digital media zone, and as a board member of the Next 36, Nadir is working to take us from a startup nation to what he calls a scale-up nation. Our government has a role to play in helping him succeed. So I want to just stop here and say thank you for the idea. And Sheldon's sitting right behind you, and he's been chewing on my ear about this as well. So thank you for that. This is a gap that has been identified. It's a problem we need to solve, and thank you for pushing us to do that. Thank you, Nadir. Thank you very much. So Ontario is a startup province, and that is unequivocally good for our people, for our economy. To make it great, we need to work to become a scale-up province. That comes down to capital and connections, and that is where Scale Up Ventures comes in. As we announced in last week's budget, the province of Ontario will provide up to $25 million towards Scale Up Ventures, a unique partnership between government, private investors, and business leaders who are committing both their capital and their connections. The more than $50 million Scale Up Ventures Fund is designed to ensure that Ontario's most promising companies reach the stratosphere right here in Ontario. Each company chosen for investment will be partnered with one of the 30 members of Scale Up's Leadership Council, who will bring mentorship and real connections, new customers, and new markets to bear. The members of Leadership Council understand that they have a role to play in developing new talent and new ventures. They come from many economic sectors to help guide a young business to growth in a very real and practical way. Having a mentor with an established track record of success can open doors that were once closed or maybe even slammed in your face. They can take you from pitching middle management over the phone to pitching ownership in the boardroom. So I want to thank Nadir for taking the lead in Scale Up Ventures Leadership Council, for finding other civic-minded business leaders to join him, and for his help in raising the initial $25 million in private investment for this fund. Thank you so much. So Scale Up Ventures will begin its operations this year. It forms a small I know, that's okay, it's okay. It forms a small but significant part of our government's plan for a sustainable economic growth. But it's a four-part plan to build Ontario up by investing in people's skills and talents, making the largest infrastructure investment in Ontario's history, fostering a dynamic and innovative environment where businesses can thrive, it's obviously part of that, and securing retirement for everyone in the province. But as I said at the beginning of my remarks, essential to our plan are your ideas, your innovations, and your drive. Ce qui est essentiel pour notre plan, ce sont vos idées, vos innovations, et votre dynamisme. Your entrepreneurial success and our success as a province will not be determined by fate or circumstance. It will be determined by our capacity to come together, continue to work in partnership so that you, the thought leaders, can continue discovering, innovating, and leading in the global economy. We have found success by learning to do things differently. Nous avons connu le succès en apprenant à faire les choses de manière différente. Through Scale Up Ventures, we will build on that success. We'll build Ontario up for today and for tomorrow with your help. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Thank you, Premier Wynne. Your strong vision for Ontario and for how we can work together to build a province of opportunity and prosperity for everyone is inspiring. I would now like to invite members of the Scale Up Ventures Leadership Council to come up on the stage, starting with its chair, Nadir Mohammed, former CEO of Rogers and chair of Scale Up Ventures. David Mackay, president and CEO of the Royal Bank of Canada. Joe Natale, president and CEO of TELUS. Dan DeBow, founder of Ripple. Killian Burrs, managing partner, Boston Consulting Group. John Love, managing partner of KingSett Capital. Mark Cohan, former commissioner of the CFL, our one winning team. Michael Nobrega, former CEO of OMERS and chair of the board of Ontario Centres of Excellence. Sabi Marwah, former COO of Scotiabank. Sheldon Levy, president of Ryerson University. Brian Porter, president and CEO of Scotiabank. Don Walker, CEO of Magna, and Francis Shen, founder of Astra Technologies. I will now ask Nadir to please come forward and say a few words.
Thank you, Tom, and good afternoon, everyone. And congratulations, Michael and Tom. It's a fabulous group and a terrific turnout. But let me begin with a huge thank you to you, Premier Wynne, for your government's support for this, I believe, truly important initiative. I'd also like to thank the members of the Scale Up Ventures Leadership Council for being here, as well as showing their support throughout this process. It's unbelievable, the group that we've assembled. So thank you, and take a big hand for it. Now, today's announcement is an important one for Ontario's economy. It's important because it targets a critical, crucial gap in our existing innovation ecosystem. Unlike 10 years ago, today, I believe Ontario does a pretty good job of incubating startups at their early seed stage. So if you have an idea, you want to start a business, it's a pretty good place to get you going. And our success really has been through the efforts of the provincial government under Premier Wynne and previous leadership, but also with early stage incubators like the OCE, Communitech, Mars, Ryerson's, DMZ, and others. And importantly, people like angel investors and entrepreneurs. Frankly, a lot of you in this room have made that part of the ecosystem successful. The real challenge, the critical, crucial challenge today comes when it's time for our startups to actually scale up, to move to the next stage and to become full-fledged, thriving companies. And when you step back and consider the number of startups that graduate from all of these incubators, you quickly realize that many worthy young firms have trouble scaling up their operations. And the few that do succeed in growing often do so, frankly, by moving south of the border. I believe collectively we can do much better. In fact, I believe we must do much better. We need to build a significantly more robust innovation ecosystem to support promising young startups as they grow and get past the early stages. So what does that mean? What do we need? It means better access to what's known as patient capital. In other words, access to capital, money, investors who aren't in a hurry, who don't need a return in 3 years, and are prepared to help our firm go through the many stages we all know it takes to go from a startup to a thriving business that's succeeding. It means access to Canadian companies and their network of customers. and it means access to expertise and mentorship. Scale Up Ventures was created to precisely do these things: provide patient capital, customer networks, and expertise. I've had the chance to talk to a lot of young entrepreneurs, and it's clear from speaking to them that their most crucial need is access to local customers. That means breaking through to corporate Canada, much of which is represented on the stage right behind me. I also talked to a lot of Canadian business leaders, and I know they understand how critical it is for their companies to embrace the new technologies and embrace innovation, because they realize that innovation is essential for their own firms to change, to adopt, to survive in this new age. So on the one hand, we have corporate Canada recognizing the need to invest in innovation. On the other hand, we have young companies that have the desire and need the access to corporate Canada as a customer base. And it's the marriage of these two needs that makes up Scale Up Ventures' differentiation. It is the focus of Scale Up Ventures. It is where I believe we will succeed. And to guide Scale Up Ventures, we have more than 30 of Canada's top business executives and entrepreneurs committing their time, their organization to the success of these ventures. As you can tell, we come from all sectors of Ontario's economy, and as you can see, many of us are here today. We'll be offering the benefit of our experience to these young firms as they map out their strategy for growth. But even more importantly, we will also help execute their strategy. We will bring our connections to the table to help them gain market penetration, to help them gain access to markets locally, nationally, and internationally. And I had the chance to speak with each business leader. What really struck me was their commitment to this endeavor, to really making a difference. Personally engaging because they believe embracing innovation and entrepreneurship is not only key to their business, but frankly to our nation's prosperity. Their personal commitment is an investment in Ontario's economic future. And of course, Premier Wynne, it's the government's initial $25 million investment which has made this initiative possible. So thank you once again, Premier Wynne, for your support for the Scale Up Ventures Fund. And I look forward to coming back here with you to celebrate many future successful Scale Up Ventures in the years coming. Thank you again.
Thank you, Nadir, and the rest of the Leadership Council for your commitment and drive to make this vision a reality. We look forward to working with you on this exciting initiative. I would now like to ask two of our Made in Ontario, highly successful young entrepreneurs to the stage. They would like to say a few words of thanks to the Premier on behalf of all of us. Carl Martin is the co-founder and CEO of Nimi, whose wristband technology identifies a user through their unique heartbeat and eliminates the need for passwords. Carl was a recent winner of OCE's Martin Walmsley Award. Ariel Garten is co-founder and CEO of Interaxon, creators of Muse, the brain-sensing headband that helps you improve your mental fitness and reduce stress. Interaxon and the University of Toronto were recent winners of OCE's Mind to Market Award. Please come forward, Carl and Ariel.
Four years ago, what we were known as Bionim at the time, and now we're known as Nimi. My co-founder and I founded the company based on PhD research, and I wouldn't even call it commercialization at that point. It was pre-commercialization, and we just had our technology and figuring out what to do with it, and too early for private capital. And right there to support us was the Ontario Centres of Excellence and the province of Ontario. And we could not, honestly, we would not exist today without that early level of support, because It was early, it's risky, it's based on research, the applications are not obvious. And it took us a few years to figure it out. And now 4 years later, we've gone on to raise over $15 million in private capital, employ over 40 employees. And so I'm here really just to thank OCE, the Province of Ontario, and the Premier for that support, because we would not be here if it were not for that. Thank you.
Premier Wynne, it is a sincere honor to be here to thank you. My company, Interaxon, is here thanks to your support. We all know that innovation is required in order for us to thrive. And Premier Wynne's government has been extraordinarily innovative in their approach to creating this ecosystem and funding this ecosystem. 6 years ago, I too was a small startup, just a seed of an idea. And with the support from Wynne's government, from McGuinty's government, from Ontario Centres of Excellence, Mars, and the other RICs, we were able to create a product that is now sold globally. We've sold to over 68 countries. We're available in Best Buy Canada and Best Buy US. We've generated over $50 million in value in Ontario, and we're going on to work with over 50 research institutions like Mayo, Harvard, etc. Muse is a tool that's helping people understand and improve their mind and improve their lives, tackling diseases like autism, ADHD, epilepsy, stress, depression, and more. Premier Wynne, it is thanks to your innovative vision that everyone in this room can be proud to be an Ontarian, can be proud to be generating value for not only the people here, the people at this conference, the innovative ideas that we have that will build Ontario, but these ideas will also go on and build the entire world. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and from all of us here.
Thank you, Carl and Ariel, for your remarks. Premier Wynne, thank you again for joining us today and for your government support of innovation. We look forward to working with you and your government in the days ahead as we continue to create the best possible environment for encouraging entrepreneurism and innovation in Ontario. Thank you also to Nadir Mohammed and the rest of the Leadership Council for their passion for innovation and entrepreneurship. This is truly an exciting announcement. Finally, I would like to also thank our colleagues across the ministries whose efforts we greatly appreciate. In particular, I would like to recognize Minister Moridi and Minister Duguid and their teams, including Deputy Minister Giles Gerson, Assistant Deputy Minister Bill Mantell, and George Cadet, Director of the Commercialization Branch. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a big round of applause to thank our 25th Premier, the Honourable Kathleen Wynne, for joining us here today.